Hello again, it is I. And I really want to talk about... Is my door locked? It's not locked, it's not... That's it. The Lord of the Rings. And all of the current controversy concerning the Amazon TV series and the whole Anglo-Saxon thing and the argument, which is extremely valid, to be honest. Now, I didn't need someone to tell me this, but someone consolidated what I already thought about these kinds of matters into more precise language, and that was: do not endorse the things that you do not agree with by constantly exposing them. Now, adaptation is more accurately described as the co-opting of Tolkien's original world to create a politically correct product which pushes the boundaries and fits in with modern times and all this kind of thing. And I've heard the argument expressed that if you want to do that, do it with something else. Like, of course, because I've talked a lot about the lack of English mythology, and people argue that there is no native English anything, which is not really true, is it? I mean, do you have to define these terms specifically and scientifically? Everyone knows when they visit a different country, when they're experiencing the time-honoured traditions, the vibe that is firmly embedded, that comes back from a deep antiquity. So after the initial expression of the opinion that this should be ignored, it should be ignored. What I'm saying is, say your piece and then simply do not watch it. You cannot change the source material. Truth hurts. You cannot change the source material. The Lord of the Rings is a European mythology, more specifically an English mythology. The word Anglo-Saxon has been bandied about a lot because Tolkien was an Anglo-Saxon professor at, linguistics or some such like. And the truth is that it goes wider and deeper than that. There's a lot of the Celtic, there's a lot of the Norse, and as you go towards the edges of the territory, we meet characters who are a little bit Eastern. So it's obviously set in Europe, a mythical Europe. If you wanted to go beyond the boundaries of where it's set and the vibe and the obvious character, then you're just making up a load of bullshit, really, aren't you? Because it doesn't exist, because Tolkien didn't go there. There's many things Tolkien didn't talk about, and you see the insanity of people online when they make videos like how orcs were made explained or something like. It's not properly explained. All you can do is go around in circles. Different kinds of trolls. It's like, maybe you're going a little bit too far, maybe you're going a little bit too deep. I get it, it's fun. I love the Lord of the Rings. And you see, the reason I'm making this video is because the Lord of the Rings... Now, let's take it back to the I almost get bored of it, I've said it so many times, but the Roman invasion, Dark Ages, the Norman invasion, Now, all the Celtic stuff on the edges of the UK is through the lens of the Christian monks that wrote down these myths and legends and such like. So that's a thing, you know, a thing. I'm using the modern lingo now. But deep in the heart or in the centre of the UK, the English mythology is almost entirely absent. Now, there would have been, obviously, the ancient Britons, something equivalent to the Celtic, which is virtually non-existent, almost entirely. And with the migrations in of the Anglo-Saxon and the Norse and such like, we eventually end up with this very, I mean, where the name England comes from, obviously the Anglo-Saxons. So if there's something missing, if there's a hole, people want to fill the hole. Or rather, the absence itself calls out to be explored. And Tolkien felt that calling from a very real place. And I'm one of the people that will say, I've been to Middle-earth, I've read The Hobbit, The Lord of the Rings and The Silmarillion. I've been there. And it's more than just a book. This is something through the creative process, through the muse, if you like. Something is coming through. The story works on so many levels. We can't even go into it, can we? We can't even go into it. And also, it works on a Christian level as well. J.R.R. Tolkien is a Catholic, so therefore you have the qualities of everything that is and is not, right back to perhaps, the Neolithic, the Barrow Whites and all that kind of stuff. Everything is catered for, and everything has been reformulated into that alternative world through the lens of a man who experienced World War I, a deeply spiritual man, a learned man, a man who, in the same way that an artist sits down with a brush or a pen and receives visions, he received a kind of audible download in terms of languages. So that's why it's so deeply loved. It's held so close to the heart. We love these people. We know these people. Gandalf and Frodo and Bilbo and Elrond and Galadriel. Now, anyone can do what they want, right? People can do what they want. You don't have to agree with it. You don't have to endorse it. You can see it for the stupidity it is. So after the expression of the initial opinion, the best thing to do is to ignore it, knowing full well, that kind of confidence. If someone calls you a name, like, you're like, hey, I'm a bit old for that now. Just let's back off. And I know what the truth is. You can't change the source material. It is what it is. If you want to make shit up, then it would be the equivalent of making up extra chapters of the Bible. Who's going to take that seriously? Like, no one. This can't be done. You can't take over from Tolkien. It's a moment in time never to be repeated. And the absence of the English mythology, this book, these books rather, or this world, these stories, they don't have to be perfect. They don't have to. Whatever you're looking for, you find something there to fill that hole, and you can take it as far as you like, or you can just enjoy it as a story. I remember as a young boy, the first time Tolkien's world entered my consciousness, there was a school play, and I remember all these. They got children from the audience to dress up as the dwarves. They gave them funny hats and things, and I remember Bilbo and Gandalf especially, of course, and the whole journey, and the dragon and the ring. We know that he borrowed heavily and inspirationally from what was left of all the beautiful European mythology as it stands. So my message is, don't endorse it, ignore it. It ain't got no legs. It's bullshit. You can, if you want, make up, you can characterize, you can make, I mean, those movies, they're the original, the Peter Jackson movies. They're pretty good. They look good, right? There's a bit of dialogue here and there that's a bit rubbish. They made a bit of a fool out of Gimli, and they pumped up the EQ on the hero aspect of certain characters, and they did that. They took it as close as the edge as you can before they ruined it. They didn't ruin it. It was, you kind of, I forgive that. That's okay. They're really enjoyable because they did service the initial intention. Peter Jackson made a good effort, and he really did understand that well, but he had to pander to the entertainment criteria from a certain perspective. I don't need those goddamn movies. I've been to Middle Earth. I read the book before the movies came out. Don't need them. But they're okay because they don't piss all over it. If you don't get it right, it hasn't got legs to stand. No one of intelligence will take it seriously. So just after you've had your say, ignore it. There is a Christopher Tolkien interview where he says something really profound about what if Gandalf took the ring. You can find this interview because there's not many interviews with him. You can find it somewhere. I can't be bothered to dig it out. If you care enough, you'll find it. He says that to paraphrase, this is how I remember it in essence. If Gandalf took the ring, he would be incredibly dangerous, as Gandalf understood. When he was offered the ring, he, quite vehemently, it was refused, right? So, because Gandalf's intentions, because he would have believed that he was doing what was good for everyone, this is what Christopher Tolkien was saying, it would have made him a real bad guy. And I think there's a strong parallel in what's happened here in those words. And also I read a comment, it was a reminder of a again, to paraphrase, evil cannot create of its own right. It can only twist and corrupt what already exists. There's a quote from Tolkien somewhere like this. It's referring to the creation of the orcs, of the bad guys, that lust for power from Sauron. He cannot create anything new and beautiful. He can only take what already exists and twist it. And what is the ultimate fate of the ugly, twisted intention? Ruination. The tower crumbles. Defeated by just little people with good hearts. Yeah. What I'm saying is there's nothing to worry about. Just, it's ridiculous. Anyone with half a brain can see through this crap. I wouldn't even watch TV, let alone watch it. But it is important to say something once and then retract. You can't change the source material. Like you can't change Robert E. Howard's source material. Like you can't change H.P. Lovecraft's source material. You can't come in and start messing with greatness. I mean, you can try. It doesn't have legs for the long term. So keep it secret.